The day was etched in her memory like a scar she could never erase. The fight had started over something small, maybe a dress, maybe just the wrong word at the wrong time, but it had spiraled into a storm of bitter voices. Her stepsister's eyes were sharp, her voice laced with venom as she snapped, "You don't belong here. You've always been a burden." The words cut deeper than she wanted to admit, and she stood frozen, clutching her books against her chest, as though they could shield her. Moments later, a door slammed so hard the walls trembled, and silence swallowed the house. She was still in the living room, heart pounding, when her stepsister returned. But instead of more insults, she thrust an envelope into her hands. Her fingers shook as she opened it, only to see money, more than she had ever held in her life. "Take it," her stepsister said coldly, refusing to meet her eyes. "Go abroad, study, do whatever you want. Just don't stay here. Not around me." It was like being pushed out of the world she knew. The words stung like poison, but the money was real. For a moment, anger and confusion wrestled inside her chest. Was this cruelty or mercy in disguise? She wanted to scream, to ask why, but instead she stuffed the envelope into her bag. That night, she packed her small suitcase under the dim light of her bedroom lamp. She didn't cry, not once. She told herself she was strong, that leaving was freedom. And yet, as the car carried her to the airport at dawn, she couldn't stop glancing back at the house, at the window where her stepsister stood, watching silently, expression hidden behind the curtains. Abroad, life was supposed to be a clean slate, a world without the weight of cruel words and cold stares. She buried herself in classes, her notebook filling with equations and essays, her nights spent under the glow of library lamps. The campus was alive with chatter, laughter, and friendships she never dared to join fully, because in the quiet of her heart, the old wounds still throbbed. Every time she counted the bills from that envelope to pay tuition or buy a meal, her chest tightened. That money was her ticket to a future, but also the proof she had been unwanted. And then the strange moments began. One afternoon, as she sat by the tall window in the library, she caught a glimpse of someone across the rows of bookshelves. A figure, a posture so achingly familiar. Her breath caught, and she whispered to herself, "No, it can't be." She hurried to check, but the aisle was empty. Days later, in a café buzzing with students, she froze mid-sip of her coffee. A laugh, sharp, distinct, a laugh she knew like the sound of her own heartbeat. Her stepsister's laugh. Her eyes darted around, scanning every face, but no one matched. The sound was gone, swallowed by the crowd. At night, walking home with her umbrella battling the drizzle, she felt it. The prickling weight of someone watching. She turned. Across the street, under a broken street lamp, a woman stood still, hair catching the light in a way that made her stomach twist. Her stepsister! She blinked, rain stinging her eyes, and the figure was gone. Each time she told herself it was stress, exhaustion, the mind playing cruel tricks. But the sightings grew more frequent, more vivid. She couldn't shake the feeling that no matter how far she had traveled, her stepsister's shadow had followed her. And that terrified her more than she wanted to admit. The rain fell heavier that night, drumming against the pavement as she hurried back from class. Her bag was soaked, her hair plastered to her face, but none of it mattered, because the moment she turned the corner, she froze. There, half hidden in the shadows of a flickering street lamp, stood her stepsister. Not a ghost, not a trick of the light, her! The same posture, the same piercing eyes, watching with an intensity that made her heart race. For a second, neither moved. The air was thick, the world around them eerily quiet despite the storm. Her chest tightened, anger and fear rising together. She forced herself forward, every step splashing in the rain, until she stood only a breath away. "Why?" she demanded, her voice breaking. "Why are you here? Why follow me? Didn't you hate me enough to send me away?" Her stepsister's lips trembled, her eyes glistening with something she had never seen before, pain. When she finally spoke, her voice was raw, stripped of cruelty. "I never hated you." The words hit like lightning. She shook her head in disbelief. "Don't lie. You threw me out. You gave me money just to be rid of me. Tears spilled down her stepsister's cheeks, mingling with the rain. "I gave you money because I wanted you safe. There were things happening back home, things I couldn't shield you from. People watching, debts, dangers you knew nothing about. Sending you away was the only way I could protect you. If you stayed, they would have destroyed you." Her heart cracked open, every memory reshaping itself in that moment. The insults, the coldness, the sudden envelope of money. It hadn't been rejection, it had been sacrifice. She staggered back, struggling to breathe, as the truth settled in. And there, in the middle of a foreign street, soaked to the bone, she realized the girl she thought was her enemy had always been her silent protector. The stepsister she had spent years resenting was the reason she was still alive, still standing. The rain kept falling, but for the first time, she didn't feel alone.